Tells us to Toronto. The studio Shootout explained. Mm.
Footage released by Toronto police on the night of the shootout on Queen Street West in November. It shows multiple people carrying guns, waving them in the air, and
I stay with her, so I walk with a limb like a bitch. You know I stay tapping the wig. If just got behind me, I'm passing a meter. Boy, hijack, you better leader. Do a mission, I put on the beaters.
Jeez Louise, bro.
I would not be in this type of studio. Everybody got guns in there. Ain't nobody gonna rap?
Anybody gonna rap? Man.
It was a cold, tense night on November 11th, 2024, when a music studio in downtown Toronto became a battleground. The streets, typically filled with the lively hum of city life, were suddenly pierced by the sharp crack of gunfire, shattering the stillness and igniting chaos. This was no ordinary night, no ordinary incident. The brazen gun battle, which was all caught on camera.
Yeah, I'm bugging. Why am I still smiling? I'm not trying. I'm still. Yeah, I was bugging.
No ordinary night, no ordinary incident. The brazen gun battle, which was all caught on camera, would go on to become one of the most talked about and heavily investigated cases in Toronto's recent history.
It's ridiculously surprising. Wow. I'm blown away, really.
On today's episode of Tales of Toronto, I'll be breaking down the incident from beginning to end and detailing the key players involved in the violent exchange.
The key players.
The night of the gunfight started like any other, with two plainclothes officers stationed outside Casa Recording Studio, a building near Queen Street West and Sudbury Street. These officers were part of a routine patrol when they were caught off guard by the arrival of a stolen vehicle.
A Honda.
The three men in the car, hidden by the cover of darkness, had no clue that their actions were about to trigger a series of events that would bring the city to its breaking point, right under the watchful eyes of the police. Stepping out of the stolen vehicle, the three men, armed with handguns, prepared for what seemed to be a shootout with up to a dozen men that were inside the recording studio. The perpetrators opened fire toward the back of the building, and the individuals inside the studio, seemingly unprepared for an attack of this magnitude, quickly returned fire. In an instant, what began as an isolated, reckless act of aggression turned into a chaotic firefight with bullets flying in all directions. The exchange of gunfire quickly escalated into a dangerous crossfire as the three aggressors took cover behind an unmarked vehicle the plainclothes officers happened to be sitting inside of. The firefight was not a random act of gun violence. It was the product of a rivalry between multiple criminal factions, each determined to assert their dominance. We'll get more into that later in the video. The situation inside the recording studio was dire. As the gun battle raged on, the chaos inside the studio reached a fever pitch. The sounds of gunfire reverberated throughout the building, and patrons, who had gathered for a birthday celebration, were left scrambling for safety. Many attempted to flee the scene, some discarding firearms as they ran, tossing the weapons into nearby garbage bins along the laneway, and one under a couch. Despite more than 100 rounds tearing through the night, it was nothing short of a
under
miracle
the couch?
that no one was hit. As the dust settled, the three perpetrators attempted to flee, but their stolen vehicle was then hit by the unmarked police car, leaving them to run off. One of them was caught, but the two others got away. Meanwhile, another police squad arrived on the scene and officers quickly entered the building, securing the area and beginning to assess the scale of the situation. What they discovered was both staggering and alarming. A significant cache of firearms, including automatic weapons, assault rifles, and handguns, had been stashed throughout the studio. Law enforcement also found multiple high-capacity magazines and firearms that had been modified for fully automatic fire, revealing just how serious the situation had become.
This is crazy.
What's more, police say some handguns were modified to fire up to 1,200 rounds a minute.
As officers moved through the chaotic scene, they detained several individuals still inside the studio. But even as the
how can you even control 1,200 rounds a minute? You can't, like, it goes brrrr.
Cuffs were placed.
That's crazy.
They knew this was just the beginning. What lay ahead was a months-long investigation, a deep dive into the tangled web of alliances, rivalries, and motives that fueled the night's violence.
Good They are shocking videos provided by Toronto police of the moments leading up to a wild shootout on Queen West.
In the videos, you can see people at a party playing with and dancing around holding guns.
Police say it was 11:20 p.m. on November the 11th. Plainclothes officers were conducting an investigation outside the recording studio when 3 males got out of a stolen vehicle and fired on the building.
I saw about 6 of them, a group of them running.
Partygoers returned fire and the original shooters took cover behind an occupied but unmarked police vehicle which was struck several times. Police are still looking for Jamarli Smith, Olad, Caleb Odulate Stewart, and Mohammed Kyrie. Also wanted Dylan O'Williams, Jadane Hamblett, Donnery Walker, and Noah Belnavis Esu.
In response to the shocking and violent incident on Queen Street West, the Toronto Police Service launched Project Poppy, an expansive and far-reaching operation specifically designed to bring the individuals responsible for the gunfight to justice. The name Project Poppy was not only a tribute to the resilience of the community in the face of such violence, but also a reference to the red poppy that is worn on Remembrance Day, the day the shooting occurred. Paul McIntyre, superintendent of the Organized Crime Enforcement, spoke out about the significance of the operation, calling the gunfight an audacious and reckless exchange of gunfire. Inspector Paul Krawczyk of the Integrated Gun and Gang Task Force further underscored the gravity of the situation, warning that the police would stop at nothing to bring those responsible to justice.
Right.
The efforts of Project Poppy quickly yielded results. Within days, 23 individuals were arrested and 16 firearms were seized, signaling the magnitude of the operation. Notably, one of the individuals arrested was a 16-year-old male.
Yeah, I seen that. It was written on the thing, on the... Well, it said 16-year-old male was charged with a homicide.
Firearms were seized, signaling the magnitude of the operation. Notably, one of the individuals arrested was a 16-year-old male who was charged with second-degree murder in relation to the death of pro poker player Matthew Burgart. Initially, 8 of the arrested suspects faced charges. However, as the investigation progressed, some charges were stayed, with 5 individuals having their charges dropped. As the investigation continued, it was revealed that the scope of the operation went well beyond the initial arrests.
You got a camera in the studio?
Project Poppy led to 14 additional arrests, bringing the total number of people taken into custody to 37. The number of charges also grew, with more than 100 new charges being laid against suspects, ranging from possession of restricted firearms.
100 new charges? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Exit out life, I ain't gonna lie. 100 new bro, what am I even?
To the discharge of firearms with intent to endanger life. Then, on Thursday, January 23rd, 2025, Toronto police made a major move by releasing the names and mugshots of 9 wanted individuals linked to the audacious gunfight. Along with this, they dropped a gripping video compilation captured from cell phone and surveillance footage that put the shocking events on full display, unraveling the chaos before, during, and after the deadly shootout. The jaw-dropping footage reveals a group of men inside the studio, nonchalantly brandishing handguns, dancing as if nothing was amiss. What's even more shocking is that some of them were bold enough to post it all over social media, showing off their firepower as if it were just another night of partying.
Brother, I've never seen people jump up and down with fists like...
Yo, they got 5 on here?
Oh, as if it were just another night of partying.
Brother, I've never seen people jump up and down with fists like that in the studio in my life.
The sheer scale of Project Poppy illuminated just how deeply
I've never seen it in my
gun
life.
violence had
My
become
first
in
time seeing
Toronto's
this, but
criminal landscape.
tough
Inspector Paul Krawczyk alleges the exchange of gunfire was a rival gang situation, adding he would not reveal the name of the gangs to avoid giving them any notoriety whatsoever.
I'm not up here to give them any notoriety whatsoever. I don't want to say their names.
No shoutouts?
They don't deserve it, and quite frankly, I don't see the purpose. We know who they are, and that's the most important thing, but I'm not going to name them.
Unfortunately for him, on this channel, we give out the full story and only the full story. From the mugshots, to the names, to the raw, unfiltered footage from inside the studio, one thing is clear. This wasn't just a shootout, it was gang warfare. After going through the information provided by Toronto police, I can confirm 4 different crews were involved in the gun battle. There's Maze Block, the Should Drive Bloods, OK Gang,
whoa, All these gangs are affiliated. Okay, buddy. Yeah, 10-4. We got him. You know what I'm saying? Nah.
And the Scarletwood Crips. I'll begin with Maze Block. Among the 3 gunmen who arrived in the stolen car and opened fire on the studio, one stands out. This is Jadane Hamblett, better known by his stage name, Tim Neat. He's an up-and-coming rapper signed to Blue Feather Records, a rap label.
What's his name?
Tim Neat. He's an up-and-coming rapper signed to Blue Feather Records, a rap label created by Press's older brother and reputed Driftwood Crip.
Yo, that's Ali.
That's a rap label created by Press's older brother and reputed Driftwood Crip, Bundog. Aside from rapping, Tim Neat is also a known street soldier with deep ties to crews from Maze Block. Maze Block is a neighborhood in Toronto located near the intersection of Jane Street and Shepherd Avenue. This area is known for its complex network of streets and housing complexes, which has led to its nickname. The neighborhood has been associated with various local gangs and has a history of rivalries with other groups in the city, many of whom were inside that very studio when the bullets started flying. This is where OK Gang comes into play. Otherwise known as OKG, OK Gang is a ruthless blood-affiliated crew forged in the heart of the Lane, a tight-knit community housing complex located on the south side of Jane and Finch. Their name carries a deadly legacy, honoring O'Shea and Kwame, 2 close friends who were executed in cold blood during the summer of 2013. As the junior offshoot of the now-defunct Lane's crew, OKG inherited more than just turf, they inherited war. Their long-standing feud with the feared Driftwood Crips and Maze Block has fueled decades of bloodshed, with all 3 crews just a stone's throw from one another. In this deadly game of retaliation, no score goes unsettled, and the cycle of violence shows no signs of stopping.
Hold on, chat said, how long ago chat answered? Someone said in chat,
According
my favorite
to Toronto
chocolate
police,
person is
the
back.
majority of people inside the studio happened to be OKG members. Among them was Delano Williams, better known as OKG Dello.
We're not even going to
Sitting
react
here
to that
holding
comment.
a large rifle,
Thank you,
Dello is
brother.
a rising rapper from the Lanes, known for tracks like Breach and Reaper. But long before the shootout, the wanted rapper was already entangled in serious legal trouble. In the early hours of January 5th, 2021, Wikwemicong Tribal Police responded to a report of individuals armed with a firearm. The investigation led to officers seizing over $36,000 worth of cocaine, $1,300 in cash,
70
and 2
grams of
prohibited
cocaine
weapons.
for
3
value
men
of
from
1,000.
Toronto, one of them being OKG Dello, were arrested and charged with drug trafficking, weapons possession, and possession of proceeds from criminal activity. By October 2021, Dello was sentenced to 30 days in custody for breaching probation, a minor penalty considering the scale of his charges. With his past catching up to him and a growing rap sheet attached to his name, slipping through the cracks won't be so easy this time around. The same can be said for this next OKG member, who was also caught easy this time around. The same can be said for this next OKG member, who was also caught on camera that night. This is John Marley Smith, better known as rapper J Sav. Bursting onto the music scene at just 17, he came up alongside Connection's own rising star, Duve, quickly gaining traction in Toronto's underground rap scene. His raw lyrics and street-focused storytelling resonated with many, painting vivid pictures of the life he lived and the dangers that came with it. But while his music was earning him a growing
Chat say hey.
fanbase, his name was also making headlines for all the wrong reasons,
Chat said don't give me 50.
proving that in his world,
That's very fetty, but I already did 10.
rap and real-life
I'm
street
gonna hit my 40
politics
after.
often go hand in hand. At
What's
just
us?
19 years old, J-Sav
Tired,
found
bro.
himself at the center
I was
of a
at the-
chaotic
what's it
and
called?
violent standoff with Toronto police
What's up?
in the city's Don Mills area. During an early morning raid on a 7th-floor apartment near Lawrence Avenue East, gunfire erupted, sending shockwaves through the neighborhood. As emergency task force officers
Yeah.
stormed the unit,
DT. This is not a FaceTime call. Yo. Someone get. Should I get Mod? Mod, get him out of here. Yeah, relax, brother. This is not a FaceTime call. This is not. This is getting posted, brother. I'll call you after. Jeez, Louise, fam. You know what I'm saying?
they were met with a
Make
hail
me
of
mod.
bullets from inside, forcing them to retreat until the shooting stopped.
I'ma do that.
Though no
Maybe I should do
officers
that.
returned fire, The standoff ended with the arrests of JSAV and 7 others, including 3 teenagers. The operation resulted in 53 charges being laid against the group, with JSAV facing 7 firearm-related offenses, including possession of a prohibited weapon. Police seized 2 guns
Christian
from
Lopez
the scene,
Carter,
and the province's Special Investigations Unit was called in after 2 people were injured.
17,
Now,
16-year-old
with his
girl.
name tied to both the Don Mills raid and the Brazen Studio shootout, JSAV has become a symbol of the growing tension between Toronto's youth and law enforcement. His legal troubles continue to mount, but one thing is clear: his presence in these high-profile incidents is no coincidence. Next up is Jamoni Montague, better known as Hood Baby GG, a name that carries weight both in the streets and in Toronto's underground rap scene. Beyond his music, he has built a reputation as a fearless and unpredictable figure in Toronto's street scene, aligning himself with one of the city's most notorious crews, OKG. Like his 2 co-accused, GG has a history with the law, but due to the Youth Criminal Justice Act, the full extent of his record remains undisclosed. What isn't a secret, however, is his reputation. Known for his aggressive, no-holds-barred approach to rap, he isn't just making music, he's sending messages. Crippled, one of his most infamous diss tracks, is a direct shot at Robin Banks, a Driftwood Crip affiliate who was ambushed and shot 14 times by 2 gunmen. The attack left Banks paralyzed, but the message behind GG's track is clear: he has no sympathy for his ops. But it didn't stop there. The song came with a disrespectful dance mocking Robin Banks's condition, one that quickly caught fire in the streets. Before long, people were filming themselves doing the dance in enemy territory, taunting OKG's rivals in their own neighborhoods. It wasn't just the streets paying attention, Toronto police were watching too. Not long after Crippled dropped, GG's home was raided, making it clear that law enforcement was keeping tabs on his movements. But if the raid was meant to shake him, it didn't work. After his release, he took to Instagram, posting a picture of himself stepping out of jail, ankle monitor strapped on and jail slippers still on his feet.
I never in my life seen
His caption,
or
I never in my life seen or heard someone's house get raided for a music video. Fuck it, we ball. Next video drops when I get 100K. While his lyrics are laced with street politics, he's never shied away from calling out his rivals directly. Just a month before the shooting, GG went live on Instagram, and the lineup of faces on the stream made it clear that tensions were brewing. In the bottom left is May's Block affiliate Tim Neat, while on the bottom right is 2-6, a Should Drive Blood who was at the studio with the OKG members when the shooting went down. With nearly 600 viewers tapped in, the live stream quickly turned hostile. GG and 2-6 relentlessly antagonized Tim Neat, mocking and provoking him in real time.
You're a bitch. If I run into you, I'm gonna slap you in your teeth.
Knowing what would unfold a
yeah, you
month
can see top 5 in the comment section.
You're a bitch. If I run into you, I'm gonna slap you in your teeth.
Knowing what would unfold a month later, it begs the question, did that live stream light the fuse for what was to come? With tensions running high and his name entangled in both the music industry and the ongoing gang war, one thing is certain: he isn't just rapping about the streets, he's living them. In the aftermath of the brutal studio shootout, GG and his older brother made the unexpected decision to turn themselves in, fully aware of the consequences. But cooperation didn't mean leniency. Both were immediately slapped with a long list of weapons charges, solidifying their roles in the night's deadly chaos. Another crew spotted in the studio alongside OK gang members was the Should Drive Bloods, a younger offshoot of the notorious Dixon City Bloods, the same gang that made headlines for its role in the Rob Ford crack scandal back in 2013. Their name honors Zachariah Ali, aka Shmoney, a 16-year-old who was executed in cold blood in the parking lot of Kingsview Village Junior Public School. His murder sent shockwaves through the Dixon community, triggering a brutal internal power struggle that left several senior Dixon Bloods dead in the days that followed. What started as a sudden tragedy quickly spiraled into a deadly civil war, forever changing the landscape of Dixon street politics. Among the most notorious Should Drive Bloods in the studio that night was Double O, a figure deeply entrenched in the city's gang warfare. His involvement in the shootout was no accident. It was yet another chapter in a bloody feud that had been brewing long before the first shots rang out. Operating under the alias Double O, Olad is no stranger to the simmering tensions between rival blocks in Toronto's northwest. But on a summer night in 2018, Those tensions erupted into bloodshed. On June 10th, 2018, alongside two accomplices, Double O brazenly stepped into Driftwood Crip territory with a mission to assert dominance. In a dimly lit parking lot at a community housing project on 396 Driftwood Avenue, the three gunmen crossed paths with Jamal, a 29-year-old reggae and blues singer, and his two friends as they were walking towards their car after a party. It should have been an uneventful moment for the trio, but instead, it became a fight for survival. Security footage captured the terrifying sequence of events. The three gunmen first robbed Jamal and his friends, taking nothing more than a pack of cigarettes and a cell phone, but the violence...
He robbed him for a pack of cigarettes? Maybe I understood it wrong. Maybe he only had...
didn't stop there.
What do you say?
Taking nothing more than a pack of...
Nothing more than a pack of cigarettes
and a cell phone.
And a cell phone. 2025, we're robbing people for lungs affection. Yeah, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. We need to go ahead and speed up 2025 because this might not be it.
But the
maybe it was. Yeah, what a federal. Yeah, mod. Tap in with this guy. Next comment he makes. Yeah, we're out. We're gonna ban him. Like, just keep him on timeout. I ain't gonna lie.
Violence didn't stop there. Jamal was first pistol whipped. Then, as he laid helpless on the pavement with his hands up in surrender, Double O and his crew unleashed pure chaos. They fired 33 bullets at Jamal, 17 of them tearing through his body, leaving him critically wounded and fighting for his life. Miraculously, Jamal survived, but the damage was irreversible. Doctors worked tirelessly to repair his shattered body, inserting plates to reconstruct his bones and removing most of the bullets that had nearly killed him. While Jamal is now able to walk, he suffers from limited arm and hand use. The attack was as senseless as it was ruthless.
Oh, what a
yet,
blessing.
in a stunning failure of justice, Double O and his crew walked free. That's right, according to the judge, there was simply a lack of evidence. No convictions, no closure. For Double O and his accomplices, it was just another night in the city's underworld. But for Jamal, it was a nightmare that would haunt him forever. Double O is now a wanted man, with police actively searching for him on multiple firearms-related charges in relation to the studio shootout. He's also accused of violating a release order, proving that his past is quickly catching up to him. The final and most infamous name on the wanted list is Muhammad Kir, better known in the streets as Boozy. Originally from Tandridge, Boozy isn't just another name. He's a towering street soldier with deep ties to the Scarletwood Crips, a ruthless West End gang that first gained notoriety in the early 2010s. Feared by rivals and respected by his own, Boozy's name carries weight, and his criminal past only adds to his reputation.
He has to be
Back
in East
in
African.
2016, he was the subject of a Canada-wide manhunt following a deadly shooting outside a Mississauga hookah lounge. On February 7, 2016, witnesses reported a chaotic scene around 1 a.m. where a brawl among several men in the parking lot of Habibi Lounge escalated into gunfire, leaving 17-year-old Sharmark Farah, better known as Marky, mortally wounded. Standing 6 feet 5 inches with a heavy build, authorities initially believed
he said 6'7".
Boozy had fled to Somalia after the shooting,
Yeah,
but
Somalia.
they were wrong. He was captured right here in Ontario and set to face trial in 2022. However, in a shocking twist, Boozy walked away a free man after being acquitted of first-degree murder, a rare stroke of luck in the world he navigates. You'd think after dodging a life sentence, he'd lay low, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Just 2 years later, he was back in the spotlight, this time for his alleged involvement in the robbery of Waleed, the cameraman for the popular content group.
Wait.
That couldn't be further from the truth. Just 2 years later, he was back in the spotlight, this time for his alleged involvement in the robbery of Waleed, the cameraman for the popular content group AMP.
This my homie Kai, right? My AMP brethren. Yeah.
Instead of keeping a low profile,
Yo, Chad is laughing. This is crazy. Think about it. Like, he's... What?
Boozy...
Like, you guys might not know this, but... Walid is Ethiopian and he's from Toronto. And now lives in Atlanta. That is too federal. Am I saying?
Hopped on Instagram Live shortly after the incident, boldly taking credit for the robbery and even banning AMP from Toronto.
This is not funny. Never mind now. This is what?
Move that only fueled the controversy surrounding him.
Yo, we done the Walid. Fuck that. Real shit. We did it. We robbed that bitch. He had some moissanite. He's a wasty. I'm gonna flush that for you guys right now. Walid MP has moissanite jewelry.
AMP is banned from Toronto. No cap. AMP is banned. Let the word go around. We're looking for them. Walid? We're looking for that, yeah. Yeah, we're looking for these youths. No cap.
Quote from
the Casa Studio shootout was more than just a violent clash. It was a stark reminder of the deep-seated gang tensions that have plagued Toronto for decades. In the aftermath, multiple arrests were made, but the cycle of retaliation is far from over. For those involved, the studio shootout wasn't just a random act. It was another battle in an ongoing war, one that has no clear end in sight. As police continue their investigation, one thing is certain. This isn't the last time the streets of Toronto will see bloodshed over these conflicts.
Hey, why these ads are so fast? Like, I don't want to see this video.
Shocking footage released by Toronto police.
Hey, very nice, explained, very good video.
I'm going hard, I need to go again. They call me slipping, fucking watch, but I don't slip again. That's why I'm riding with my brothers till the fucking end.